This is a full review of the Lumix G85. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It is Prab here, and today we're taking a look at the Lumix G85. Now, this camera was released back in 2016 as a successor to the Lumix G7, which is a camera I personally own and enjoy to use. But great deals can be found on the G85 as it's a few years older now. I picked mine up for under $600 US with the kit lens included, so it's a great time to consider this camera. Now, the G85 shares a lot of similarities with its predecessor, but the improvements, in my opinion, make it a very interesting camera compared to its competition. The G85 features a 16 megapixel micro four thirds sensor, but this time it's without an anti-aliasing filter, which helps to improve the overall sharpness of the images. Regarding handling, the camera feels very robust in the hand. The SLR style design allows comfortable operation of the camera even while using heavier lenses. Although the G85 shares pretty much exactly the same body design with the G7, but there have been made small changes that are a huge improvement in my opinion. Firstly, the SD card slot is now moved to the side of the camera, where it's nice and easy to access. Secondly, the battery door has now been redesigned so that you don't have to remove any quick release plates before accessing the battery compartment. And thirdly, all the main ports like the micro HDMI port have been moved to the left side of the camera so you can easily hold the camera handheld while using something like an external monitor. Talking about which, the good news with the G85 is that now you can use an external monitor while recording video, unlike the G7, which would stop sending the signal over the HDMI as soon as you press the record button. Something else that has been redesigned in the G85 is the new shutter mechanism, and I have to say, I'm very impressed with how quiet the shutter actually feels when you're taking a photo. This new shutter mechanism reduces shutter-induced vibrations and effectively allows you to shoot at lower shutter speeds. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about here by giving you a comparison between the G85 and the G7. Now, one of the selling features of the G85 is its 5-axis in-body image stabilization. This feature alone makes the G85 stand out from the rest of its competition. Now, the IBIS works really well on this camera. I've been using lenses without optical image stabilization like the Lumix 25mm f1.7 and have gotten amazing results both in photography and while recording video. But if you're using Lumix lenses that have optical image stabilization, it gets even better, because now you can use dual image stabilization where the lens and the sensor work together to provide stable results. Also, this camera is great if you want to use vintage glass or you want to adapt lenses from other manufacturers like the Sigma 18-35mm, which is a popular choice among Lumix users. Talking about lenses, the 12-60mm f3.5 to 5.6 kit lens that comes with the G85 is a fantastic piece of gear. Now, this lens provides a full-frame equivalent focal length of 24mm to 120mm, which is truly versatile to have. Although one caveat here is that this is a lens with variable aperture that gets dark very quickly, so that's something you have to keep in mind. I personally enjoy using this lens at 12mm as it allows you to take some nice wide-angle shots with a unique perspective, and the f3.5 on the wide end provides quite a decent amount of light to pass into the camera. Also, the G85 along with the 12-60 kit lens are rated as weather sealed by Panasonic, which means you can use this combination in light rainfall or dusty environments. Moving on to image quality, the G85 delivers 16 megapixel stills with nice colors and plenty of sharpness. Now, for some of you out there, 16 megapixel would seem way too less, but I feel like as long as you are not making huge prints, the 16 megapixel files are going to be just sufficient for you. Secondly, the G85 delivers images with nice rich colors and also provides a good amount of picture profile options for you to choose from. For recording video, the G85 allows 4K at 30 or 24 frames per second at 100 megabits per second, and also allows 1080p Full HD at 24 or 30 or 60 frames per second at 28 megabits per second. The 4K 100 megabits per second footage from the G85 looks very sharp and has a decent amount of flexibility for you to work in post. Now, if you want flat picture profiles, the G85 does not have the option to upgrade to Vlog L, but it does have the Cinelike V and the Cinelike D picture profiles, although I personally like using the camera in standard and natural picture profiles with lowered contrast and sharpness settings. Something that I wish the G85 had was a better bitrate option in the 1080p mode, especially the 1080p 60 fps. On this camera, the 60 fps is limited to 28 megabits per second. I would have preferred something like 60 fps at 100 megabits per second, similar to that found on the GH4. Now, don't get me wrong, the G85 60 FPS is more than usable enough, but having a higher bitrate would have made this a better choice for people looking into those smooth slow motion shots. Regarding autofocus, the G85 features 49-point contrast detect autofocus points with Panasonic's depth from defocus technology. In photography mode, the autofocus is excellent with native Lumix lenses, but the continuous autofocus performance in video mode while recording 4K video is not that great. For someone who heavily relies on autofocus and wants to pick up this camera for video, I would suggest you to use single point autofocus, as I found it to work the best in most situations. Regarding ISO performance, the G85 can go up to 6400 ISO in video mode and can go up to 25600 ISO in photo mode. The G85 delivers cleaner images at higher ISOs when compared to something like the GH4. I personally try to keep the ISO as low as possible, but if I have to increase, I generally try not to go over 1600 or 3200 at max. The raw files from the G85 hold a decent amount of dynamic range, and in general I'm very happy with the results that this camera can deliver. So who is the Lumix G85 actually for? In my opinion, if you're looking for a camera under $1,000 that can record solid 4K video with great in-body image stabilization, a camera that has a great performing kit lens and can deliver beautiful images, then the G85 is the camera for you. On the other hand, if you're looking for a camera that heavily relies on autofocus performance, or you want to have the benefits of a larger sensor camera body, then you should look somewhere else. So this was my review of the Lumix G85. Let me know if you like this video by hitting that like button, and definitely consider subscribing. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.